Alright guys, it's another Magic the Gathering video brought to you by the Age of Chaos, hopefully being featured on Everscape TV. Alright, what I want to talk about today is card abilities that have been around for a while and for that reason are often no longer described on cards. With the advent of so many new sets and abilities coming out, there are some abilities that have been around for a while that now just get one word on a card and you don't have a description. While a lot of seasoned players know what these abilities are, there are people even still learning the game for the first time and they don't have a clue what these abilities mean. So I just want to point out a few of them. Child of Night here, little vampire, her ability is lifelink. Now all that means is whenever she does damage to an opponent or an opponent's creature, you gain power, you gain life equal to her power, in this case 2. So even if she dies, as long as she has dealt damage, you gain that 2 life. Okay, Sure Strike. Nice little instant card power up. It gives target creature +3/+0 and first strike until end of turn. So first strike, all that means is the creature with first strike deals its damage first in combat, instead of both creatures doing their damage simultaneously. We'll use this as an example. So we have the Kazandu Blademaster with first strike and Child of Night without first strike. So in combat, normally if there was no first strike, they would both do damage, and because they both have 1 toughness, they would both go to the graveyard. But the Kazandu Blademaster with first strike would deal his 1 damage first to the Child of Night, and since she only has 1 toughness, she goes to the graveyard and the Kazandu Blademaster lives. So that's first strike. And while I have the Blademaster up, we're going to talk about Vigilance. So normally, as you're playing Magic, whenever you declare a creature attacks, they have to tap. And that shows they're attacking, and that also means they are not available to block during your opponent's next turn. However, Vigilance means they can attack and still stay upright, meaning they are available to block next turn. Especially useful if it has first strike. Good attacker, good blocker. So Vigilance, they do not tap when attacking. Up here we have the Wall of Mist with Defender. Defender, very simple ability, just means the creature cannot attack. I mean, Power 5, you're not going to be attacking anyway, but can't attack. Mostly applied to walls, vines, and a few other things. But Defender cannot attack. Okay, another card, double ability here. The Lightning Reaver has Fear and Haste. So Fear, nice ability, means this card can only be blocked by black creatures or artifact creatures. That's all. Anyone else cannot even block this guy. And then Haste simply means that he can attack on the turn he is summoned. Normally, as most of you probably know, whenever you summon a creature, they cannot attack until your next turn, but a creature with haste can be summoned and immediately tap for an attack. Very nice when he also cannot be blocked by most things. Death Baron. So the Death Baron, he gives your other zombies +1/+1 and Death Touch. Death Touch is nifty because it says if a creature deals damage to another creature, regardless of whether or not your creature dies, the creature who received damage from Death Touch also dies. So, yay. Let's see if we can give an example here. So, let's say our little Lightning Reaver and the Zombie Wizard were fighting. Boom. The Zombie Wizard, we're just going to say, has Death Touch, and for the intents and purposes of this, we'll say the Lightning Reaver does not. So, even though by the power and toughness, the Death Baron would attack the Lightning Reaver and die because of power and toughness, because the Death Baron had Death Touch, the Lightning Reaver also dies. So that's useful. Death Touch can keep you alive a while because a lot of times people just don't want to attack for fear you'll block with a Death Toucher. And then another little double ability, Flying. Fairly simply put, flying creatures cannot be blocked except by other flying creatures or creatures with an ability called Reach. And Reach just means they can block flying creatures. And Regenerate just means whenever this Tattered Drake dies, if he were to go into a graveyard, instead you could pay this cost, 1 swamp, and bring him back to the field in tapped position. And then your next turn he'd be alive and ready to go again. So you can only regenerate a creature once per turn. So if he dies and you regenerate him, boom, and then someone uses a removal spell to get rid of him again, you cannot regenerate again in the same turn. Okay, so there you go. A quick overview of some abilities that no longer have descriptions on their cards. And once again, this video brought to you by the Age of Chaos here on Everscape TV.